Stephen King is no stranger to sharing his uncensored thoughts on movies, especially when they don't meet his expectations. While most fans know he famously loathed Stanley Kubrick's The Shining despite its status as a horror classic, his cinematic hit list of disdain runs far deeper. King has been critical of The Godfather, Part 3, Mars Attacks, and The Twilight Saga. But perhaps one of his most surprising targets is Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill, Volume 1, a stylish martial arts revenge epic that still boasts a strong 85% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes and praise from critics like Roger Ebert. In an old Entertainment Weekly column, King labeled the film tepid and dully full of itself, taking particular issue with its treatment of protagonist the bride, played by Uma Thurman. While the film has been widely celebrated for its unique visual style, genre homage, and female-led action, King saw it as a self-indulgent exercise in film school flair rather than substance. King's problem with Tarantino's script. In his critique, King acknowledged Thurman's commitment to the role but argued that her character lacked dimension. "She is, God save us, the bride," he wrote, suggesting that the film reduced her to a mere archetype. He also took aim at the script's frequent genre references and insider nods, describing them as a litany of in-jokes that amounted to little more than cinematic vanity. This stands in sharp contrast to the film's reception by other critics. Roger Ebert called Tarantino's control of his craft effortlessly brilliant, while the New York Times' A.O. Scott described the film's passion and personality as, strange to say it, endearing. Clearly, King was the outlier in a crowd of admirers, but his concerns weren't without substance, even if they were polarizing. The Bride. Underrated or underwritten? One of King's major issues was the way the character of the bride was portrayed. To him, she felt like a symbol rather than a fully realized person. But to many fans and critics, that symbolic identity was part of the film's appeal. The name, The Bride, served both as a narrative device and a reflection of how the men around her underestimated her. She wasn't just a scorned woman. She was a warrior in disguise, hiding rage and trauma beneath the surface. It's worth noting that Tarantino did reveal the bride's real name, Beatrix Kiddo, later in the two-part saga, adding further depth to her arc. In Volume 1, however, her focus is vengeance, and the film never pretends otherwise. King's critique may reflect a preference for character introspection over stylized storytelling, but for many, Beatrix's silence speaks louder than words. Irony and critique. Vanity versus vision. King's biggest gripe with Kill Bill, Volume 1 may have been its perceived narcissism. He accused Tarantino of using the film as a showcase for his own cinematic obsessions, calling it a bonfire of vanities. And while Tarantino is known for his distinctive voice and indulgent style, that self-awareness has always been part of his appeal. His films aren't just stories, they're love letters to cinema itself. The irony is hard to ignore. King himself has often been accused of excessive page counts, overindulgence in his own tropes, and inserting thinly veiled versions of himself into his stories. Like Tarantino, King is an auteur of his own medium, one with a passionate fanbase, a recognizable voice, and, at times, an unfiltered ego. A clash of creative worlds. What makes King's take so fascinating is the contrast between two creative titans. Both he and Tarantino are known for pushing boundaries, playing with genre, and challenging audiences. But while Tarantino mixes grindhouse grit with arthouse polish, King's writing is rooted in character-driven horror, often tinged with metaphysical dread. Perhaps Kill Bill simply didn't offer the kind of emotional stakes King seeks in storytelling. Its hyper-stylized violence, anime-inspired segments, and operatic revenge plot may have felt too hollow or performative to him. For a writer whose work often lives in the inner turmoil of his characters, a blood-soaked action flick might have seemed frivolous, even irritating. Two icons, two visions. In the end, King's criticism is a matter of taste. Some viewers want layers of subtext and internal conflict. Others want a dazzling spectacle with a killer soundtrack and a fearless heroine slicing through armies of foes. Kill Bill. Volume 1 may not be for everyone, but for those it speaks to, it's a masterstroke of visual storytelling and genre celebration. While a Tarantino-King collaboration is almost certainly never happening, The tension between their approaches is what makes film and fiction alike so exciting. Art, after all, thrives on debate. And no matter how dully full of itself King may find it, Kill Bill remains a cornerstone of modern action cinema, one blood-splattered frame at a time.